Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Bolton In. All thanks to Palmerbet, of course, where we take a look at racing around the country, and specifically we're into week number 2, of course, of that big Queensland. It's a big 4 weeks of racing up there, as I say. A very, very good evening to Greggy Kelson. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good evening, Matty. I'm going well, mate. Thank you.
Listen, interesting week last week. And to be honest, I reckon the weather ended up probably a little bit better and the track surface ended up a little bit better than we all thought, didn't it?
Oh, no question. It dried out very quickly, Matty, to be honest. I'd done form thinking it'd be soft, certainly to some degree, but we got a great track, good 4 last week. And we saw some form reversals, of course, because of it too, which we were half tipping if it had dried out, and it certainly did that.
Yeah, absolutely, it did. And Zaki, I suppose, were all chips in there. I think everyone was in the same boat. There would have been thousands of people around the country, had multiples into Zaki all day. And I reckon the team at Palmerbet, mate, they've celebrated hard because they've got the cash.
Yeah, and look, there's no way of, and you don't, no excuse with the track for Zaki, because he's probably better even when it's drying than he is when it's soft. He just come to the end of his campaign, and you don't know. And sometimes until the day, do you? And he was just flat. He just raced flat. He wasn't horrible either, Matty. He still hung on, but he didn't get to the front and control the race like we thought he would and like the real Zaki does. And as I said, I think, and pretty sure he's just gone straight to the paddock. So he's just at the end of another fruitful campaign.
And all honours to the winner too, Hugh Tor. Big win, big run. And to be honest, when you look back, everything's wonderful in hindsight, but had some good form.
Oh, absolutely, it did. And Matty, really, there wasn't a lot between. I reckon, in my opinion, the first 4 or 5 in that race.
Yeah,
I thought the better runs. And these horses are going to the Q22, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. But I thought 4th and 5th spot, Great House. He made up a stack of ground late. Probably like the Q22 to be 2,500 metres for him. I reckon it'd be ideal. It's only 2,200. But I thought he was a great run. And the Chosen One, we saw a much better The Chosen One on the drier ground as well. They ran 4th and 5th. So heading to, as I said, to that Q22, I thought out of the Doomben Cup, take nothing away from Weeder. I think that's how they pronounce it. It confuses me when the caller calls him that name. But
yeah.
But I thought there was some good runs all around the winner as well.
Yeah, certainly going to be a good form race, as you can imagine. Hey, what about the Derby? Pinarello, huge win. Barrier 20, great ride by Lee Finnis as well. It was a cracking race, to be honest, and at a nice little price. He ended up getting punted in. I think he was about $9.50, all thanks to Palmerbet. And I think it was just the gate was the trick, wasn't it? But this horse, untapped ability.
Well, take nothing away from him because he had to overcome that gate and get the job done, and he did. But again, Matty, a little bit like the Doomben Cup, I thought the runs, like there wasn't much of a margin between he, Paternal, Kibosh, even Dark Destroyer. None of them were very far away. So a bit of a blanket finish, so to speak. So there were some other good runs in it. But as I said, I think the winner deserved to win purely because, as I said, he drew that gate. And Dark Destroyer from the inside, he did get motoring late. But again, that probably inside draw was against a little bit.
Yeah, lost no admirers.
Yeah, he might even go to the Q22. I noticed he's in the noms, so he'd be a lightweight chance there.
Yep.
And you touched on Leith Innes, the rider. There's a bit of a story there as well because he's going to bow out. That was his 31st Group 1 winner, which is
amazing.
Mate, it's a phenomenal amount of wins. I think, I don't know how many winners in New Zealand, 1,700 or something in total, but 31 Group 1 wins, and he's going to bow out on top at 44 years of age or whatever. And what a way to go.
I don't think anyone saw it coming, though, did they? Like it just, he obviously thought this is one of my better rides. It's a Group 1 in Australia. What a great way to bow out, and good on him.
Yeah, and he probably thought about it, hadn't he? Probably thought, well, regardless of the result, wouldn't it be beautiful if I could win a Group 1 again? And he's done that, mate. So that was terrific.
Absolutely. What about the Kingsford Smith Patchy Chase? Look, it was a blanket finish once again. Some good runs. I was on 11.11 at a decent old price
You
too,
were.
Eyes.
You were, Matty.
And only leg of the quaddie I missed was Apache Chase.
Yeah, and look, again, Paul Leary, look, it was only Bob of the Heads and 11.11 really close up. So they were both terrific runs. I noticed I want to go back to my bet and apologise too. And Treviere was awful.
Yeah.
Very disappointing. Got back as we thought, but just didn't run home at all. And again, she's on her way back home, or she'd be back home in New Zealand by now and in the paddock. So again, another one that came to the end of a campaign in Treviere. But Paul Learley close up, 11-11 close up, terrific runs. Out of all of those horses, the one not nominated for the Stradbroke is Paul Learley, so that's an interesting one. But the other, Apache Chase, and again, we're tying in a jockey story, but Jim Byrne at 50 years of age, Matty,
amazing,
riding as well as ever. He showed that.
He's a beauty.
And mate, just a couple of stats on Jimmy Byrne. He rode his first Group 1 winner on a horse called Adam way back in 1999. So 23 years later, he's riding what'll be another one of the favourites in the Stradbroke this year. So 23 years on, he could do it again. Wouldn't that be an amazing story?
What a freak. Absolute freak show. Hey, so your best bet didn't salute. Soxagon got the job done for Mark Curry.
Boy, mate, you've had a great day.
Absolute pimple, but we got the job done. Mark Curry won very well first up that horse and got the job done again. I thought one of the other wins of the day too, and I couldn't believe the price this horse got out. Two Eyes got out to $10.50 in the end. Was Narge Matey in the last. I took that Blanc in my quad, as I said, missed the Kingsford Smith winner. But
you're a good judge, Matty.
But seriously, it was $4.50, and it just kept drifting. And its win was huge.
I know, and the one thing was, Matty, around the day, if you found winners, you were finding value because a lot of the markets were very, very open. So, and you're right, you found them. Pinarello, Naj Marty in the last, even Paternal that ran second in the Queensland Derby was a good price. There was value there if you could find it, and it'll be the same this week too. I think the Oaks, for example, I reckon there's value there when we get to talk about this week's Group 1 Oaks. But Matty, it's terrific racing though. Big fields, they're coming from everywhere. And we're seeing that, as I said, that integration from heavy tracks back on the dry and
back on top of
seeing horses improve too.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a look ahead at the Q22. We've touched on it. The market, all thanks to Palmer Bet. So Hugh Tour at $2.50, Maximal at $5, Hopeful at $6, Great House $8, The Chosen One $8, Polygray 11, Cucaracha, love that name, at $11, and Yonkers at $11. Look, it's hard all in, but you'd have to be supporting and backing the form up of Hugh Tour, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you probably would. But do you want to take $2.50 about a horse that just won? You know what I mean? And
correct.
And Maximal not far away. But as I said, it was sort of a blanket type finish. So I'm not sure I would want to be taking those. They can win. Hopeful, of course, one that's not coming through that form. But I spoke about horses like Great House and The Chosen One. I think that little bit extra trip's going to suit both of them. If it's dry ground, and again, who knows? By next week, maybe the wet's gone up in Queensland. But if it's dry ground, The Chosen One and I think Great House, they might represent a little bit more value because they made up a stack of ground on Saturday too.
Absolutely. Dark Destroyer, it's sitting at about $15 too, if it chooses to go that way.
Yeah, that's right.
And what about the first up win of La Don de V? Change of stable, of course. Warrnambool Cup winner, won first up, beat a horse that we were all chips in Tuvalu.
I didn't think you were going to remind me of that, Matty, but you have.
That horse is absolutely flying. And just in regards to, I interviewed Declan Marr from the Marr Eustace team at Hamilton during the week, guys.
Yep.
And Saunter Boy is looking at the cups up there, the Eagle Farm, I think it is. He's at over 3,200. So that's how good that horse is going.
Yeah, and you know what? Because he's so rock hard fit, and it won't matter what they got as far as weather went up there either, because he handles everything. Look, it'd be silly. And we're getting like European horses, aren't we? If we can go from the jumps to the flat, good horses can do it now, because I think you've got to be a pretty good talent to be a really good jumper now too.
Yeah, so absolutely.
That's good news.
Hey, we'll just have a quick look at the Stradbroke too. Of course, that's coming up next weekend. Ayrton had a jump out during the week, guys. Nice jump out too. It's the favourite at $6. Alligator Blood. How good was that? God bless Soxagon. No, not Soxagon. God bless Yeah, it was Soxagon's race, was it? First leg of the quaddy?
Yeah, Soxagon.
Got the job done in an absolute by a pimple. But Alligator Blood was huge. It's at $9. Apache Chase at $9. 11-11. Another good run first up for mine the other day too. I thought it was really good. It's at $9. Isotope 15, Private Eye at 15, Rothfire 15, September run, and then Soxagon at $15. So it's pretty open. Did you see the jump out of Ayrton during the week?
No, but we know what a talent Ayrton is, don't we? And it's entitled to be favourite, I think. It's flopped on occasions, but as I said, on its best form, it's almost unbeatable, isn't it? So it's entitled to be favourite, but there'll be a few breathing down his neck that we've seen, and we've seen more recently than Ayrton too. So creates a lot of interest, doesn't it? And well, I don't know. There'll be value there, Matty. And again, it's just fishing through and sort of trying to find it, isn't it? It's
and the 1400. So the horse that's looking for the step out distance, all that kind of stuff comes into play. How the track will be racing on the day too,
and whether we get wet or dry, and we've spoken about that plenty of times, haven't we, Matty?
Yeah.
But it's going to be a really, really good encounter. And as I said, at this stage, look, Ayrton's probably going to be hard to go past if he was going to show his best, and I know that sort of, they don't want us sitting on the fence, but Alligator Blood, we've forgotten about how good he was last week too. He savaged the line, didn't he? And Apache Chase that won on Saturday. So there's a host of chances. Private Eye, the horse I said to look out for, he wasn't too bad, and I noticed he's shortened up again from $20 into about $15 for the Stradbroke. So he might be cherry ripe to run a big race in the Stradbroke as well. But
I'm sticking 11-11, mate. I reckon nice value.
Yep.
He's been backed in the last week and a half as well. Right, let's have a look at the key race this weekend. It's the Queensland Oaks, only Group 1 up there, of course, at Eagle Farm on Saturday. Gypsy Goddess is our favourite at $4.20. Aravine at $4.60. Barb Raider at $8. Belle Savoie at $9.50. Glint of Hope at $15. They're the three Vicks. Honey Creeper at $15 and Dynasty's at $18. How are you seeing this? Because I tell you what, Barb Raider's done absolutely nothing wrong. Belle Savoie, they come through the same race, and Glint of Hope beat Barb Raider in Adelaide.
Yeah, absolutely. All the form, or a lot of the form, will tie in with each other. But Matty, I'm seeing it that I'm going to go for the Roses form from Saturday. The horse is backing up, and I think you can have a couple of bets here to make a profit. I'm keen on Belle Savoie to perhaps turn the tables on Barb Raider. The Winkers are going on. It's had the cider up there in Queensland now, so it's had a run that way of going, if you like. And I reckon a little bit of the value's gone because it's already had some support in the market. I think it opened around about $12. And Matty, you've telling me a market, but it's into about $9 or $9.50. Yeah. It's got to overcome barrier 17. Just hopeful that it can settle somewhere midfield, even if it's 3 wide with a bit of cover. Belle Savoie, I reckon it's the value, but Barb Raider at around about the $8. You can back them both and I think get a result because the thing about Barb Raider is she'll sit closer to the speed. Last week she box seated for Willow. She's got to do it from 11 this week, but so she, what I mean. She might struggle to get that same run, but the only blot on her record in all 12 lifetime starts has been on a heavy 10 track. So she's just a good horse. And the favourite's got to overcome barrier 22 with the outside. I know there'll be with the emergency, so it comes in 4, but still you got to come from the outside gate. You're taking the $4.20. I don't know. Yeah, and good also Gypsy Goddess and William Pike too, the little master, the wizard. Well, the thing about Gypsy Goddess, she's just about bulletproof. I know she's drawn 22, but she's never run a bad race in her life. A heavy track. Good track. If she can have some luck from gate 22, she just might be something pretty special. And the other one, Matty, you touched on, Glint of Hope, beat Barb Raider in the Australasian Oaks, as you alluded to, in South Australia. It hasn't been here and run last week, so a little bit fresher legs, if you like. So you've got to throw Glint of Hope in as well. But as I said, I'm going to have a couple of bets. and I'm going to back both Belsoir and Barbrader and trust that the Roses forms the best form.
Glen of Hope for mine eyes, barrier 14, tricky little gate, obviously, but got buckets more in the saddle, and I reckon this horse is just an out-and-out absolute stayer. And I just reckon at a nice price at $14. Little each way play there will do me. Now, what about your best bet coming up at Eagle Farm on Saturday, Ice?
Yeah, I found one here at $8, Matty. Opened a bit better. It's already been $13 into $8, and I can see why, and that is in race 8, the Group 2 Moreton Cup, over 1,200 metres, shooting for gold. Back onto a dry track's the key to this one. Had a failure on the Gold Coast last time on a heavy track. Have a look at its stats, track, trip. Hasn't done... Now,
5 starts on the track, 3 wins and a placing. 15 career starts, 7 wins, 4. I love horses that win, Eyes.
Yeah,
he's a winner.
He's a winner. He's a 4-year-old. He's on the up. He's got to do it at group level. I know that, but you're getting a price to find out. And I reckon back on the dry track, Eagle Farm's probably his favourite track too.
Yeah.
If you look back through his stats, and shooting for gold, me, race 8, number 5, and he's still each way value.
Right, I'm going to go my best at Eagle Farm on the weekend. Race 6, number 3, a tissue from the Chris Waller Yard. This horse at Scone last start in a listed race over the 1,600, absolutely steaming through the line late. So if you can make up ground at Eagle Farm this weekend, I just reckon smallish field, Eyes, so doesn't have to go around a lot of horses. Yep. And that might be the key here.
And what you want to see, Matty, is horses running through the line at their last run, don't you? That's the sort of form you want to be following into for sure.
Absolutely. Just hope there's a little bit of speed in the race, which I think there will be. Now we've got some big races down at Flemington too, our neck of the woods, Eyes. What are we thinking for a best bet down at Flemington on Sunday? 9 races.
Yeah, well, again, I'm looking at value, Matty, and I know people say you can't eat value, but I reckon race 9, the 3-year-old handicap, 1,100 down the Flemington Straight. This bloke's absolutely on fire, Paddy Payne.
Oh,
absolutely killing them. Number 5, Squid Game. Draw in the middle of the track so he can sort of tuck in behind.
Kilos.
Yeah, he can just sit wherever he wants to, I suppose. Mickey D, he's a decent horse, Squid Game, and I'm just going to follow the stable that's in form. He'll run you a ripping race in the last.
Aren't they flying at the moment?
Everything's winning.
Seriously, absolutely on fire. Hey, I'm going to stick. You're going to laugh at this, but
I think I know where you're going.
We're on this horse last start. The both of us were, Eyes. Race 7, number 3, Jimmy the Bear, sat 3 wide the trip last start. Had no right to win that race, but just I know, and I remember we spoke about this horse and said this is a horse to follow moving forward. And he was fantastic. To be honest, Eyes, I can't believe they've put up the $12.
Well, not when the horses in the same race all around him. They didn't do it any harder than him that day. They're shorter in the market than him, so they've got a set against the Bear. What's the go?
Boys at Palmer better mad, mate. That's what it is.
$12.
$12.
Yep.
So
Jimmy the Bear.
Honestly, and I'm looking through and I'm thinking, well, what's going to beat him?
Again in the stable's in great form.
My oath.
So, yep, I can see your reasoning 100%.
And I actually reckon the horse is going to be, the firmer the track, the better the horse might be. I know the stable's got an opinion of this horse, and we might just see a next level Jimmy the Bear coming up Saturday at Flemington. Eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, the other feature race there, Matty, is the main race, the Winter Championship. I'm just looking now because I had something sorted out here which is race. A terrific race. You've got Cherry Tortoni again engaged from Paddy Payne's stable. Favourite, Matty, and you'll have the market, but it looks like it'll be It's Our Time. But gee, it's a deep race, Matty. That is an absolute cracker. You can get some value there too if you like. Yeah, Harbour Views is going to kick off again for Matty Williams. Be good to your mother, second up for Daniel Bowman. So a couple of locals in the race, and Lindsay Smith with 2 or 3 engaged. It's a beauty.
It is a beauty. Tuvalu, we're a big wrap. I know Lindsay's a big wrap on this horse as well. Always has been. For mine, had every chance last start. It was out to the 16, drops back to the 1400s. Had a few issues, the horse. I think if it gets a run, we give it one more chance.
Well, I think so. The only, and I thought he had every hope too, Matty, because I thought he might have put a bigger gap on him on the corner last time. I'll say this, Matty, he's drawn 18, so if he gets into the field, he's the third emergency. He's going to probably have to just push forward and chance his arm. Maybe he doesn't get a strong mile. And maybe those are the two things I'd put down as if you were looking for excuses, and just maybe the heavy track run at Warrnambool flattening him a bit more than we thought. So they're the two things. And if that's the case, he can well and truly bounce back. But do you want to be taking $3 or $3.50 about him bouncing back?
You're kind of taking that on Spruik,
and I think you'll get better.
Yeah,
You'll
I
get
do
a better
too.
price, I think.
I reckon, because a bit of buzz about the horse, all that kind of stuff. But I think the buzz might be slowly wearing off a little bit. So,
yeah, he's just the sort of horse that could come out and
blow him
away. Because as I said, if for example he just couldn't show that turn of foot at the mile and he can at 1400, well, who knows? And again, it might depend a bit on how the track comes up. It's currently rated in the heavy range at Flemington. I know it dries out quickly, but it might depend on what sort of rain we get for the rest of this week too, Matty.
It'll be rock hard like concrete, mate.
Probably.
Liam O'Keefe, mate. We don't call him
He'll be rolling it, will he?
He will be. He's the best in the business, though. That is for sure. Hey, guys, fantastic show. All thanks to the boys at Palmerbet, of course. Download the app, get involved. There's plenty of stuff in the bookies bag too. And it's a really easy app to navigate.
Fantastic, it is.
Gamble responsibly, though. That is the key message. And I tell you what, looking forward to a really, really big day's racing at Eagle Farm on Saturday. Flemington as well. There's plenty going on, mate. And hopefully we can tip a winner.
Let's do that, Matty.